What's going on, y'all? Attorney Tom here. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Johnny Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, absolutely shutting down Amber Heard and her legal team. This is some of the best trial lawyering I have ever seen. Let's jump right into it.
It has been suggested by Ms. Vasquez to you in your questions that you didn't tell anyone about the abuse until the TRO. Is that true?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
All right. What if any? All right.
Okay, y'all are going to hear objection leading a lot, so I'm just going to break it down for you. Objection leading means that the question asked suggests an answer. If you're a trial lawyer, what you're going to be looking out for are things like, isn't it true? Yes or no? Isn't it correct? Things like that. And the rationale behind that is the witness should be testifying on their own personal knowledge or experiences, not something that the attorney suggests is true. And while you are allowed to ask leading questions in certain circumstances, like cross-examination, here, Amber Heard is on redirect examination. So it's her own lawyer asking the questions. So Amber Heard's lawyer should not be asking leading questions. So the judge properly sustained this leading objection. We're going to be starting a tally count of all the objections made.
About the abuse during the time it was happening.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
That's not offered to,
and hearsay.
Sustained.
Your Honor, it's prior consistent statements.
It's leading. It's sustained. Next question.
Just chalk that one up for leading. We'll get to the hearsay objections soon.
Okay. What, if anything, did you tell to anyone about the abuse?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain
Your
objection.
Honor, Your Honor, may I approach
That's
someone?
fine.
You know, we couldn't go very long without talking about hearsay. What is hearsay? Hearsay is an out-of-court statement made for the truth of the matter asserted. There are four general elements to hearsay. It's a statement made by a person, made out of court, and made for the truth of the matter asserted. Here, the question was, what did Amber Heard tell other people? Now, that is hearsay because it's Amber Heard saying what she told other people. To make it not hearsay, they would have to bring in the people that they told, because Amber Heard in theory could say whatever she wanted to anybody, but in order to corroborate that evidence, they need to bring in and question under oath the people who she told those things to, and they will ask them, what did Amber Heard tell you? There are tons of exceptions and subsections to hearsay, and I'm sure we'll get into those as well.
Ms. Heard, how many people have you shared the fact of abuse prior to 2015?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Okay, so the question was, how many people have you shared information regarding your abuse prior to 2016? That's probably not leading. Generally, if you stick to the who, what, when, where, why questions, you're probably in the clear. How many people have you? No. If I'm the judge, I'm probably overruling this. This goes to her personal knowledge, her personal experience of how many people she has shared her information with. Now, here's a dirty little secret of being a trial lawyer. Sometimes you make objections knowing that they're going to get overruled. Now, generally, a general guideline is, as a lawyer, you should really try to avoid objecting too much, because if you object too much, you're going to look petty. The jury's going to be pissed off. You're going to be fighting little battles that don't really matter, because you can always just rephrase the question and get that evidence in another way, and it really is a bad look. Now, with that said, if a witness is extremely hostile to you and tensions are high, I think that opens the door to giving the opposing counsel pretty much free reign to object as much as they want. Now, for anybody who wasn't watching, Camille Vasquez on cross-examination and Amber Heard did not get along. Tensions are high in this courtroom, and I think right now her strategy is to object to everything possible to throw off Amber Heard and her legal team's ability to ask questions and to get into a rhythm without ruining her credibility or pissing off the jury. I think everybody knows the tensions in this courtroom.
Overruled that one.
Yeah. See, overruled, but she still made the objection.
Roughly about 10.
Can you name them?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I think she can, it's not offered, it's just showed that she informed people before. They're suggesting.
Objection, Your
she didn't
Honor.
tell
Can
them.
we approach? This is, again, inappropriate.
So that one's iffy. Maybe it is hearsay, but Camille Vasquez is making a point that this is going to be a difficult redirect for their team. She is going to object and argue to everything. She's going to make that judge know that this isn't stopping unless they shape up.
You were asked whether you had consulted a medical doctor about any problems with your nose, correct?
That's correct.
And you indicated that you, in fact, had after the divorce,
Objection,
correct?
leading.
Did you or did you not consult a ENT after the divorce?
That did you or did you not doesn't necessarily make the question not leading. Remember, when in doubt, stick to the who, what, when, where, why. What did you do after you saw the EMT, or what happened after this particular incident? Don't lead.
Leading.
Did you produce medical records to the defendants relating to this?
Objection,
I did.
leading
All
calls.
right, I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you.
It's leading. Next question.
Your Honor, if we could,
let's,
the witness could be instructed not to answer until I've
All right.
lodged my objection.
Wait for the objection, please.
Could we bring up defendants?
I actually took notes on that statement right there. I'm going to learn from Ms. Vasquez. It's so hard to get an objection in timely, because if you don't get it in timely, it's essentially waived. I've never asked a witness to hold on and refrain from answering until I've objected in court. And, you know, it's the little things that I'm picking up on. I'm going to use that next time I'm in trial and the situation warrants it.
Exhibit 1077. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
And could you tell us what it is?
That's the what my ENT, the ears, nose, and throat doctor, told me was
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, when there's objection, please stop talking. Thank you. All right, I'll sustain the objection as to.
Because it's what the ENT doctor said. If they want the ENT doctor to testify, they can have him testify.
What, if any, you were asked if you had, it was suggested that you had not produced this in discovery. Is that true or false?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Your Honor, she absolutely did that.
It's leading. It is leading question, though. I'll sustain the objection as to leading.
What, if anything, did you do to produce medical records to the defendant, to the plaintiff in this case?
I turned over all of my devices, and they had Johnny's team had a third party, or someone they selected as a third party, go and pull all relevant documents from those devices, which I handed over.
Do you know how many were handed over?
Hundreds of thousands, I believe. Maybe.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next.
We have our third type of objection getting into the mix here, lack of foundation. Lack of foundation is a very interesting objection. Essentially, what you're saying is that the witness isn't necessarily qualified to testify about what they want to talk about. In order to determine whether something lacks a foundation, you need to ask the following questions, such as, is it relevant? Is it authentic? Is it hearsay, or is there a hearsay exception that applies? Is it privileged? And does the witness have personal knowledge of what they're going to testify to? Here, Amber Heard is definitely not a document retrieval expert. She's talking about how these documents were retrieved and the amount of documents that there were allegedly hundreds of thousands of them. They definitely did not lay the foundation for this at this time. Now, just because you lack foundation doesn't mean you can't lay the foundation. So if the lawyer chooses, they can go back and lay that foundation, but you can't just jump to the conclusion.
Next question.
And what, if anything, did you produce to the plaintiff in connection with your consultation with an ENT specialist relating to your nose?
Objection, leading.
Sustain.
Foundation, hearsay.
What if anything? That is not
All three of them.
cure-all. It's sustained.
When did you see an ENT specialist?
2017 or 2016 or 17.
And as a result of that consultation, what did you learn about your nose?
Objection.
Did you see her shaking? Oh, I'm in the way. We need to go back. Look at her during the entire question.
And
Watch this.
as a result of that consultation, what did you learn about your nose?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'm not.
You can see it coming from a mile away. This question's probably a little bit iffy. It might not be hearsay, but it probably calls for hearsay in the answer.
Asking her to tell what they said.
Yeah, I'll sustain the objection.
What, if any, production did you make to the plaintiffs of your medical records with the ENT?
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
If you only have foundation.
Do you know whether the records, medical records from your EMT were produced in discovery in this
Objection,
case?
Your Honor, lack of foundation calls for speculation.
Our fourth type of objection gets into the mix, calls for speculation. Now, speculation is exactly what it sounds like. You're speculating. Witness testimony should come from personal knowledge or experience of the witness. Now, there are two types of witnesses, experts, non-experts. Some experts are allowed to speculate, give their opinion. Here, Amber Heard's testifying as to how she turned over the document, so I don't think it's necessarily speculation.
I'm asking.
Overruled if she knows.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall? I'm trying. What, if anything, did the medical records reflect about your nose?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Hearsay because there's better evidence. You can just show the records.
Do you have injuries to your nose?
Yes.
Please describe those to the jury.
I have
I'm going to
a bunch of scar tissue.
I'm going to object to the extent it calls for hearsay and lack of foundation
Overruled.
and improper expert opinion.
Well,
She can certainly testify to.
She can testify to her personal experience, but we have our fifth type of objection, improper expert opinion. Amber Heard is not an expert. She cannot give her opinion. She can speak about her personal experiences, but if she starts talking about, oh, I have scar tissue that is going to cause a permanent deformity for XYZ, she's not an expert. She doesn't know anything about scar tissue, or she's not an expert in scar tissue, I should say. She can't give an opinion about how it's going to affect her future or how the severity of the injury, all that kind of stuff, other than what she personally felt.
we'll see where it goes. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a significant amount of scar tissue in my nose.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
What, if any, difficulty do you have breathing?
Objection, leading.
What, if anything? And that does cure on
No, it doesn't. But I'll overrule the objection.
Thank you. Do you remember the question?
I have a significant amount of trouble breathing at night, and I've been putting off having surgery for it.
Now, you were asked about December 15, 2015, and Ms. Vasquez suggested that you did not report the abuse or the injuries to Aaron Falati. Do you recall that
Objection, Your
question?
Honor, leading.
Your Honor, I'm entitled to go into what Ms. Vasquez asked.
The objection is leading. I'll sustain.
You are entitled to go into what was opened up on cross-examination. That's the whole point of redirect, but you can't lead the witness doing it. You are directing the witness on redirect. You're not allowed to lead.
What, if anything, did you report to Aaron Falati about the abuse you sustained on 12/15/2015?
Objection, leading and hearsay.
Approach.
If every question you're going to ask is improper, you're going to get up in front of the judge and ask her to have this line of questioning stop. It's ridiculous if you have to object to every single question. There's clearly bad faith there, or at least that's what you're going to argue if you're Camille Vasquez.
Did you tell Nurse Falati on 12/16/2015 about the injuries you sustained from the 12/15/2015 attack?
I did. I believe I sent her pictures too.
Okay. And did you text with Nurse Falati on 12/16/2015 about the injuries that you had suffered as a result of Mr. Depp's attack on you on 12/15?
Yes, she guided me through a concussion check.
And did you tell Connell Cowan about the injuries you sustained?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
It's prior consistent statements, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to sustain the objection at this point. Next.
Again, they could have just called the individual in question to get his testimony to see if Amber Heard said what she said.
Do you recall Dr. Laurel Anderson testifying that she saw two black eyes
Objection,
on
Your Honor,
12/17?
leading.
Sustain as to leading. Okay.
What, if anything, do you recall from Laurel Anderson's testimony in this case about what she observed on 12/17/2015?
Objection, Your Honor. This is outside the scope of cross-examination.
It's prior consistent statements.
I'm going to sustain the.
Okay, this is the sixth type of new objection outside the scope of cross-examination. So Amber Heard is currently on redirect. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. Amber Heard got up on the stand and she testified. Then Johnny Depp and Camille Vasquez, Johnny Depp's lawyer, cross-examined Amber Heard. Now, if new issues are brought up on cross-examination, Amber Heard and her legal team get the ability to do a redirect to clarify those issues. But the purpose of redirect is only to go into what was discussed for the first time on cross-examination. So if this doctor's testimony about these black eyes did not come up during cross-examination, it is outside the scope of what was discussed and therefore is inappropriate to talk about.
The objection.
It's observations for
I'm
the
gonna
12/17, the same day.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
May I approach?
Okay.
When in December did you see Dr. Laurel Anderson?
Objection, lack of foundation.
Overruled.
I saw her 2 days after the attack.
So on what day did you see her then?
That would have been the 17th of December, 2016, and I told her what happened.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
No, sustain the objection.
And when did you see Dr. Connell Cowan?
I saw him the next day, December 16th is my best recollection.
Let's jump to East Asia for a moment. And we saw a number of pictures from the backless dress. What, if any, motivation would you have to claim that Mr. Depp was kneeling on your back, knowing you had a backless dress?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
I think I can bring
calls for
this out.
speculation.
It's still leading. I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Why did you say that Mr. Depp was kneeling on your back in East Asia?
In the closet of the hotel room in Tokyo, I said that because it happened to me. And it would have been much more convenient if I was making it up to not include that detail, knowing I had a backless dress and I walked a press line and got photographed.
We've heard testimony about Mr. Depp making a total of $65 million in 2015 and 2016 from his experts.
Objection, Your Honor.
Why did
leading?
I haven't asked the question
Hearsay.
yet.
I mean,
Why did you not ask for $32.5 million from Mr. Depp?
Your Honor, leading.
I said, why did you not ask?
Irrelevant.
I'll
The
sustain the
explanation.
objection. Sustain the objection to leading. Next question.
Why, can I just ask, why did you not ask for $32.5 million from Mr. Depp?
Because I didn't want
Asked and answered.
New objection asked and answered. They already took this issue up literally 5 seconds before. Asked and answered is exactly what it sounds like.
Relevance.
Oh, overruled. Good.
because I didn't want it. I realized that that's what I was entitled to, but I didn't want it.
Now, Ms. Vasquez asked you about how you got your role in Aquaman. Could you please describe to the jury how you got your role in
Yes.
Aquaman?
I auditioned, not Johnny. I auditioned. I worked really hard, and I went to where we were filming the first movie, Justice League. I went, I think, 5.5 months early before filming commenced, when I heard that they wanted to fire me, and so I put myself in the job.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Sustain.
Who wanted to fire her? That is hearsay. If they wanted to bring that testimony in, they would have got somebody from the studio who could corroborate that and say, yeah, I am the decision maker and I wanted to fire Amber Heard.
Keep it away.
I worked really
what they
hard.
said.
I worked really hard on that and had to prove myself. And I did that for, even though I was only filming for 6 days, I was there for 6 months. Just worked my butt off. That's why.
What, if any, role did Mr. Depp play in your getting Aquaman?
He tried to have me fired from it.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
All right, I'll sustain his speculation.
How do you know that he tried to have you fired?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation and hearsay and lack of foundation.
I'm trying to lay a foundation.
All right, if you lay a foundation.
I saw it. I saw the emails. I saw the texts.
I'll sustain the objection as to hearsay. Next question.
You were asked about Isaac Baruch and why and that he saw no marks. What is your recollection of your interaction with Isaac Baruch during the week of May 22nd?
I saw Isaac when I was coming or going, meaning I was leaving or arriving to the building. I saw him at a distance. We did not have a in-depth conversation, nor would we. And I told him, actually, right after it happened, what his friend had done.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I don't think it's offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
It is. They could have called this Isaac guy and he could have corroborated the evidence.
Stay away from what was said. Can you just tell us what interaction you had with him and his opportunity to observe you with absolutely no makeup?
Objection,
That's
Your Honor.
impossible.
Leading.
I'll sustain the objection. It's leading.
Please describe for the jury your interaction with Isaac Baruch during the week of May 22nd.
Well, not only did I have makeup on, but I did attempt to kind of let him know what happened.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
You were asked some questions about Officer Melissa Science's testimony. What, if anything, do you recall relating to Officer Melissa Science's testimony relating to your injuries?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Your Honor said I could redirect after the cross-examination when she...
Then redirect.
What, if anything, do you recall of Officer Science's testimony in this case relating to your injuries and the property destruction?
I recall her saying that she didn't feel that the state I was in was enough of an injury to her, or wasn't injury seeming to her.
Do y'all notice how these questions are not flowing? This is exactly what Camille Vasquez and the rest of Johnny Depp's legal team wants. She's doing a great job. She's making it so hard for these lawyers to ask questions. Now, granted, Amber Heard's lawyers probably could be doing a better job of asking the right questions phrased the right way, but that's not Camille Vasquez's problem. She's doing an A+ job disrupting this flow.
We talked about you were shown a bunch of newspaper headlines, and there was one in particular referring to sexual violence. What, if anything, did Mr. Waldman do to you relating to that article?
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation. Calls for speculation.
What did he do to her?
Unintelligible. I don't understand the question.
Overruled. We'll see where it goes.
He was carrying the paper that had that headline on it that he leaked and threw it at me at the UK trial. We were unfortunately sat kind of, actually literally next to one another with COVID spacing in between us, and he threw the paper down at me as he sat down with that on the cover.
And where was that?
In the UK, at the UK trial.
Objection, Your Honor. This is beyond the scope.
That's not beyond the
No,
scope.
overruled.
Thank you. Why did you tweet about the makeup and Mr. Waldman?
Because he was calling me a liar and a hoaxer, and that this was an elaborate hoax just to get Johnny.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question. Next question.
Yeah, okay. I don't have any more questions, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right.
No more questions. That was the entire redirect. As you guys could see, they didn't get a whole lot out of it. There was no coherent flow. You didn't really get any new info out of Amber Heard. Everything was just a big jumbled mess. Camille Vasquez and Johnny Depp's legal team did an A+ job. That was some of the best lawyering I've seen. Camille Vasquez's cross-examination on top of that was amazing. It's definitely something that I can learn from as a trial lawyer, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video and breaking down what objections are like or what the purpose of them are. All right, talk to you later.